let them be kids. They're kids one time. What they do now at 8 years old, 10 years old, will not make them a professional athlete. It won't. It won't. Back off on the pressure, back off on the hours, let them be kids.
Welcome to Surviving Youth Sports Podcast, where we dive into real stories behind the wins, the losses, and the lessons that come with raising, coaching, and being young athletes. I'm your host, Rhett Parker, lifelong coach, dad, and believer that sports are about far more than just the scoreboard. Each week, we explore honest perspectives, real experiences, and the moments that shape who we become through the game. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share the show with someone who needs to hear it. Now let's get into it. Hello, this is Rhett Parker, and welcome to the Surviving Youth Sports Podcast. Today, our first ever podcast, actually, we're talking with Coach Gabe Grinder from Southeastern University. How's it going, Gabe?
Hey, Rhett, I appreciate you having me on today.
And just to clarify a couple things. One, we are having quite the time getting this podcast off the ground. It's exciting. There's no script. In fact, you know, Gabe and I we're chatting about all sorts of things for about 10 minutes, from, you know, youth sports to the recruiting landscape and all sorts of fun things. And, you know, one of the things we're just chatting about, because I think this is really important, this is why we're doing a lot of this, is, you know, one day, just like I am right now, because I'm a parent, just like Gabe, you know, I'm known as the twins' dad because my twins are really good at sports. I'm not known as Rhett Parker. I'm known as the twin. Oh, there's the twins' dad. And we were just talking about your son, Uriah, and you're coaching baseball, and that's what you're going to be known as. You're not going to be known as Gabe Grinder, who, by the way, has coached in NAI regionals, who's had professional baseball players, who's had multitude of All-Americans, all sorts of people. No, you'll be Uriah's dad. Congratulations on that. As we start to talk about youth sports, you know, give us a little background on you know, some of the, you know, your playing career and just some of the places you've been, but, you know, before we talk about, you know, what I would call the state of youth sports.
Yeah, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I played my first year of college baseball at IUP. I transferred from there. It was a Division II school. I transferred there to Southeastern University, finished my playing career down here in Florida, started my coaching career in Florida. I started at a school that no longer exists, Florida Christian College. I know.
Awesome.
I got in ground level first year of the program, and by year 3, they just canned the whole joint. So,
oh, that's great. Yeah.
But started there, and I'll never forget it. We were 0-15. I remember calling my dad saying, "I don't know what I've done. This is horrible." And here I am 15 years later, still doing it.
That's awesome.
But I've been a little all over the country. Coached in Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, West Virginia, and now back here in Florida.
Yeah. No, and again, you know, I think people, D1, and you know, we know this, and I was lucky enough to play at Lewis Clark State, NAI powerhouse. I wish I would have went there instead of the Division I school I went to from a baseball perspective. You know, I went through some injuries, but I got to play in the NAI World Series. It's great. Ed Chef. I mean, half the things we did now. I mean, Ed's in prison. He's not in jail. He's in prison. You know, I don't know how much of this we should talk about, you know, on a youth sports podcast, but it was definitely a different time, pre-social media and all that. But I've told people all the time, you know, and sorry to my Division I coaching friends out there, just because you're a Division I coach doesn't mean you're a better baseball coach than a D2, NAI, JUCO, Division III coach. It really doesn't. It means maybe that's the path you wanted. You knew somebody, you know, you worked hard. You know, there's plenty of small college coaches that could go be Division I coaches, you know, but they enjoy what they're doing. And for those of you that don't know, you know, SEU, where you're at right now, there's no practice limitations. You know, you can practice. I mean, LC State, God, don't lose a game or you're practicing after the game. I mean, there was time we practiced after the game, had bad because we were so bad, and we weren't. We were the number 1 team in the country, but we were so bad. He's like, we're hitting for 2 hours after a game. We did that a few times. We won. So I think from that development perspective, I mean, it's huge because, as you know, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. The development aspect of youth sports is I mean, we're not even in the same hemisphere in terms of developing that we used to be in. Hit on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think my son got into baseball really when we got down here to Florida. He had played a little bit of soccer out in Texas. That was kind of his first introduction to youth sport, and we had a guy that was a former collegiate athlete, so he crushed it with the kids. Like I know nothing about soccer, but I knew like, hey, that guy's got a brain. He knows what he's doing. Like the kids are getting better. He was organized, so you're right. I love that. And then we got down here to play baseball, and I'll say this first: like I love where he plays. Great parents, first and foremost. Great parents. But as I'm watching games, I'm like, oh my gosh, like these kids can't even pick a ground ball up at 8 years old. And let's not even talk about playing catch and what that looked like.
Right.
And it was like, wow, like I expected it to be way further ahead. Like I expected my son who just kind of screwed around in the backyard or in the house playing catch and hitting to be like one of the worst kids out there. And I'm not saying he's good by any means, but I was like, boy, he fits right in. Like he's all right. He's not any further behind than any kid that's played for 3-4 years at this point in time. Like he's killing it. And I started watching practices, watching other teams' practices, and man, it was like
right here,
we're missing the mark.
Right here.
We're missing the mark. Yeah.
You watch a practice and you're checking your pulse because that blood pressure's rising and you're going, oh my God.
Yes.
What is going on?
Yes.
I gotta step in and you're representing, SCU Fire Baseball. First pod, I'm representing the 12U Camas Rainiers, which is the team that I coached my son. And I never wanted to coach. I'll help train, whatever. Like, I do a ton of baseball stuff around here. I don't want my kids to feel any pressure to play baseball. But you said something that's super important. And one of the reasons I coach, man, I don't care if we have the best players, even in our little town of Camas, probably 30,000 people. Okay. Man, we got some really good parents. I don't care and we don't, probably the best couple 12U players, they go play for a big club. Great. I don't know if I would take a couple of those kids anyways, because I don't want the parents. I don't care who the best 12-year-old is. It makes no difference to me as a coach. I want to be around good people. Like, I don't want to waste my time thinking someone's going to the friggin' big leagues. I could care less. And by the way, the best players right now are the biggest. They're not the most skilled, especially in baseball. They're the biggest.
Yep.
Because, dude, how about those bats?
Juiced.
Oh
Unreal.
My gosh.
Unreal.
Dude, there was a few times, big, giant, donkey 11-year-olds, ass out, just, tapping it. Just tapping the ball. Bang, home run to right field. And you're like, what?
Yeah. How the heck that happened? Yeah.
How did that happen? And then and I think this is the part that bothers me a little bit, because congratulations to that kid. Not taking anything away from hitting a home run is an amazing feeling, whether you're 11 or you're 20. But eventually that swing is going to be a pop out to the second baseman and the right fielder, no matter how big you are.
It is.
So, I mean, how much in your college coach, God, how much do we want to get behind that? Like, hey, great hit, but
I'll say one thing, and I got into coaching now, and you and I had talks about this, and you kind of fired me up to do it, of just trying to get in and help. Like I've taught my son
with your son, right?
Yep. Hit up the middle, hit the other way. Well, at 8U, like you're out, you're done. If he hits it on the ground, he's out. But as he gets older, he can't just hit barrel hook ground balls to the third baseman. Like he's got to learn how to play this game. So I'm on the train, like you teach them right and how to do it now. And if they don't win games because they're not willing to just hit rollovers to the shortstop and beat it out because the shortstop has no arm, then so be it. But I'm trying to teach these kids how to play the game correctly so that as they get older, hey, those skills can scale a little bit. And instead of, hey, I'm really good at being an 8U player. And I just think that's huge. And like, touch on your point, like he plays with some big boys. Like he's a little turd. I'm afraid to admit that. Like he's a tiny guy, man. But he's 6-year-olds. He's a 6-year-old kid playing against 7 and 8-year-olds. Like he's tiny. He might be 50 pounds wringing wet.
Okay.
So he's walking out there and there's like some giants. And I mean, those kids they dominate the game, and some of their skill sets horrible.
Yeah. So he's 8. Uriah's 8.
He's 6. and he
Okay,
plays
he's okay.
8U.
I
Yep.
got you. Okay.
Yeah. I watched 6-year-olds play in that league, and I couldn't
Oh,
do it, Rhett. It was like,
I
holy crap.
so very interesting. I have an 8-year-old as well, boy. Uh, and he is, God, what does he weigh? 80. I mean, he's massive. He's like 99th percentile for weight and like 95th for height. He's huge. And so he plays 10U. He's the youngest kid in his grade. He's third grader just because he's so big. Like, and maturity wise, he's fine. But then I have a 6-year-old as well. And I'm sitting here, like, we did coach pitch last year, which is great, which is what a 5-year-old, 6-year-old should do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what to do with him. I mean, I'm not doing machine. I did that with my oldest, and you either get real comfortable in there, and like, then all of a sudden, when this starts coming out of somebody's hand, and he's always been a little bit, he still is to a certain degree. Sorry, Junior. I gotta tell people the truth here. He's still a little bit afraid, but I skipped it with Knox, who's my 8-year-old, because he was big enough to go play AAA Little League and play 9U. And he wasn't the best player on the team. He was, in the middle, which is great, which is what I prefer. But man, my 6-year-old is a first grader who turns, 7 in April. I'm sitting here going, God, he probably can't play against fourth graders in AAA Little League, but he hits every day. Like, we have a little, our garage is set up, and he hits almost every day. He's switch hitter. Comes up to me, he's like, hey, I'm going to hit left-handed now. I don't want to put him in machine, and so he can scream at people. Number one, I also need another break. I need a break from coaching him for about a year. He is the most competitive, hot-headed human being. I mean, he's top 5 all time I've coached. I am fully prepared. I'm trying to prepare my wife. When we go into and he starts playing like tournament baseball, he's going to get ejected. He's going to get ejected. Gabe, he's going to get ejected. Like,
Hey,
I
get him going young, right?
At 10, it's going to happen. I mean, he's arguing with the other team's coaches that we're not even keeping scores. It's Camus, Coach Pitts. He's arguing with the other team's coaches about the score and outs. I had to sit him as many times as I had to put my arm around him. But, this goes into the other part of youth sports that I'd love to hear, your take on, not just with Uriah, but all the guys you have going to Southeastern. I will take my youngest son's mentality. And even if it means some ejections, which aren't great, we don't necessarily encourage that, even though I know you know me well enough to know I've gotten thrown out a few times, for a multitude of things as both a coach and a player. A lot of them were brawls in my defense, so that doesn't really count in my eyes. But I want that passion. I want you to even if I got to rein you in and you do some things that really upset me, I know when, and you played in the national championship game last year. I know if that guy's on my team, man, I'm going to get every ounce out of him, and he's going to put us in every opportunity to win, even if there's a ton of bumps along the way.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's what we look for, and it's what we want at the college level. And I think far too often we're teaching these kids to be really nice. And don't get me wrong, like, I want my kids, like, I want them to be respectful people. Absolutely. But when we're in a competitive setting, you're playing for something. And we've made a lot of kids that, I'll put it this way, are just they're okay with being okay. Like, for instance, my son's team, like, it ain't very good. They've gotten so much better over the last year, though. Like, it's been awesome watching the kids grow, and they lost in the championship of a tournament. It's the first time they ever played there, and they come out with a second place trophy. They come out with rings. I'm like, what are we doing, guys? Like, what do we do? And we're taking pictures with these kids afterwards, like, celebrating the fact that we finished runner-up. And mind you, like, we lost on a national title game. Rhett, they gave us like little national runner-up plaques. I have no clue where mine's even at my house. Not a freaking clue. We didn't take a picture after the game. None of that, because at the end of the day, like, what? We're happy with being second place.
Hey,
like, don't get me
wrong,
my plaque is.
I know where my NAI World Series plaque is. Man. They handed it to us as we were walking into, and we at LC State were the host, right? Hands it to me, crow hop into the concrete wall, shattered the plaque. That's where mine went. So it's probably in a dump in Lewiston, Idaho somewhere, because we lost. Like, and I think there's a balance. I own and operate multiple tournament groups, which is how we met years ago. And I sold them years ago. And there's a balance, though. I will say this: there's a balance. It's good to have the kids feel a little bit of success. Second place doesn't bother me. It doesn't. So I disagree with you a little bit there, but man, anything beyond that, oh my, like, what are we doing? What are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yep.
What are we
No,
doing?
I'm with you. We got consolation brackets to tournaments now, like, and you get a trophy for winning the consolation bracket because you got whipped in pool
Mm-hmm.
play.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're making it okay for kids to not be very good,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to create a competitive edge because we talk about it all the time at our place that and when baseball ends, like you're gonna have to be competitive in the workforce next and be competitive in life, and we want these kids to do that. So I'm with you. Like I would rather have to rein kids back in. Like Uriah gets a little wild. Like he plays hockey on Saturdays too, which he
Ooh,
absolutely
ooh.
loves. And I'm about it. And he comes up to me, he's like, Dad, I'm gonna check someone today.
And
Like, no, you actually can't do that, son.
your wife's from Canada.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So
Yep.
it's in the blood.
It is. It is. It's
Okay.
in the bloodline to play some hockey.
Like it.
But like he's gotten in fights on the ice, and it's like we talk afterwards, like, dude, you can't fight people out on the ice,
Yeah.
man. It's not okay.
Yep.
But I like
Sounds like we should put a team together. I mean,
Yeah.
man, we
Yeah.
would. I don't know how many tournaments we'd get thrown out of, but it would be a heck of a lot of entertainment for people.
Oh man, I mean, Rhett, on Hockey Saturday, like my old college roommate, his son plays in the same league as Uriah. Uriah scored on him, and the kid freaking hacked his legs from behind because he was pissed Uriah scored. And I was about it, like, hey, show a little bit of fire here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no,
We
like
just
kids need that edge.
Yeah. And it's balance, right?
Yep.
My
There is.
youngest son plays soccer. My wife played soccer at a very high level. And yeah, he threw a ball at a kid as he didn't like what he did to him. And we gotta just, hey, can't do that. Love the fire. Don't want to take that away from you, but yeah, we can't do that. So I'm sure our wives are going to be super pumped that we're sharing, a lot of these youth sports moments, and I'm sure I'll share a lot more because Gabe, one of the reasons why I'm doing this, not that I'm some big influencer. I'm going through it too, dude. I'm in it. I started, I've had almost every job you can have in baseball, and because I'm introducing myself to people, by starting this, and having you be the first person on as much as anything, right? I was a bat boy and a clubhouse person for AAA Tacoma Rainiers. Okay, thus why we, picked this name. I played college at multiple different levels. I was drafted out of high school, drafted multiple times. I played professionally. I've been a college coach. I've been a scout. I've worked at spring training. I ran Pacific Northwest Regional Baseball. I've owned and operated I mean, I used to joke around with people when I was working at spring training. I was working in the clubhouse. I threw BP sometimes, and I go, man, I'm going to go learn how to be an athletic trainer because then that I can check that one off, and then I'm going to go learn how to be a strength person because then I can check that one off too. Then I'll go be a pro coach, then front off. Then I can literally look at anyone in the eye. Then I got to figure out a way to own something. And then, I can say I've done every job in baseball. Right. And it's really a lot of unique perspectives, but man, I'm going through it too. I'm going through, oh man, are we doing the right things? Like, are we? And I can tell you, because my brother lives in Florida. Florida's a different place than in Texas, like where you've lived, than
Yes.
Washington.
Yep.
And I know, we're trying to be positive here, but we're also trying to be realistic, and we're trying to help people. Give me a story, because I got some too, but give me your jaw drop. What are we doing? Or maybe it's just a generalization of what's happening in Florida hockey, baseball. It doesn't really matter in sport.
Yeah, I think two things come to mind. And I think one's more of a collective of what I've watched, and one is like an actual, hey, this happened. I'll start with kind of collective. For me, what's been eye-opening is the amount of parents that put this ungodly amount of pressure on their kids out at the field to be the next superstar. Like, I got news for you. Like, your 6, 7, 8-year-old, it doesn't matter what they do right now. It really doesn't. And that's why I don't really push my son. Like, if he wants to go hit or play catch, we do it. I don't force them to go do it, because what you do right now at 6 years old really isn't going to shape who you are at 18, 19 years old playing college.
Genetics will, though. Genetics will.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But your skill set, like, no, like what you do right now is not going to matter. And I think parents need to learn kids are kids, because like we had one parent that it was like a badge of honor. Their son played over 75 games at 8 years old. Like,
this is another one of those.
Yeah, that's insane. Like the team my son plays on, they play like once, twice a month on a weekend tournament, which is awesome.
Same with us.
It's perfect.
Same with us.
Practice on Wednesdays and twice a month they play, which is great. So I found that crazy that people are putting this much pressure on their kids to be this superstar and how much they're playing. And then second, we were at a tournament. I'm coaching third base. Yeah, I got wrapped into that. I just kind of want to sit on the bench. I'm now coaching third base.
I hear you.
I try to not be Gabe Grinder, third base coach from college at the 8-year-old game.
Yeah. Uriah's dad.
I try to be a little more Uriah's dad subdued. Yeah. And there's a pop fly, and two kids, they look at each other and they just let it drop. It's 8 years old, whatever. Right. And the coach starts F-bombing them over my shoulder from the dugout. And I had to turn and look at him and say, hey, man, like, we're serious right now. You need to chill out. Like, they're 8 years old, man. Like, how about we teach them instead of yell at them? And he looked at me like I was crazy. And that struck me as like out there, because these are 8-year-old kids. Like, I don't ever cuss at our college guys. I don't call them any names. Like, we push them hard, sure. And we demand a lot out of them, but like, we treat them really well as far as treating them like human beings. And to hear that guy yell at a 7 or 8-year-old like that, it's like, man, we've lost it.
It breaks your heart.
Yeah, those kids aren't going to want to play because they don't want to be talked to like that. They just don't.
You just said, 6, 7, 8 doesn't matter where you're at. It only matters that you want to keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong. And hey, man, because there's another reason why we're doing this. Everybody wants to say, oh, at 10U, you shouldn't travel to Texas. Why? If I want to go to Texas because my kid loves it, go. Mm-hmm. Go. Is it the best thing for him? I can make arguments that it is. I can make arguments that it's not. But if he's loving the sport and you can afford to do it, parents, by the way, please don't go into debt for your kids' sports. I just, there's so many stories of that just get shoved under the rug. But, don't tell me it's not okay, for my kid to go out of state and play. Hey, why not? Should you do it in December for baseball? Probably not. But again, there's so much, don't do this. The one absolute is we need to encourage them to be fans of the sport and want to continue to play it and have fun, and that fun for, it sounds like for people like Kieran, my youngest, and Uriah, it means a lot different than a lot of kids. Because if they lose, even at 6, they ain't having fun, so I don't want to be like, hey, it's okay to lose. But I also, we need to stop dealing in absolutes other than what you just said right there. We can't be beating them into the ground and making them feel bad. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. Hey, by the way, did you get the "who are you" from that guy when you turned around and said something to him from the coach? Okay.
No,
okay. Because that's a common thing too.
Thank goodness I did.
Because I've gotten that too in baseball, and it's like, well, who are you? And I'm like, well, I'm in baseball. Not that doesn't make me better than you. It doesn't make me a better 11 or 12U coach or 8U coach than you. But man, I got a clue what's going on. Oh, tell me your baseball background, and then it's like, oh, and this is not knocking any of the people that coach, because I've met some really good people that never played even in high school that were really good youth coaches, man. And it's not, but
they know how to.
Yes.
No, I think that's another thing like that people miss is like, just because you haven't played at a higher level doesn't mean you can't coach. Because I think like that league that Uriah's in, I would say probably half the people that coach have played at college or higher, half haven't. But I can tell you what all of them are great individuals. Like awesome. They treat the kids awesome. They're always encouraging. They don't put the kids down. And it's why I think kids just keep coming back. Because like we originally went to that league because it was close to the house. It's 5 minutes away. But since we moved and got into a different house, that's a 20-minute drive for us now. And I could go to other places that are 5 minutes away, but it's, again, you want kids treated well because you want them coming back. You want to create a love for sport at this young of an age. And if they're not having fun because they lose and they're getting yelled at, chances are by 10, 12 years old, it's over. They're done playing that sport and doing something else.
And then they don't watch the sport. And I think, and granted, I've talked to different people throughout college and professional baseball through different connections, even at MLB. And it's like, man, we got to encourage people to enjoy the sport, participate in it, to create fans, and even guys at the major league level that I have really close relationships with, you're like, hey guys, we got to make sure that people are still playing and still enjoying the sport, because guess what? I hate to say this, MLS, and I know this because my kids are in soccer, and obviously, it's in the blood too, with my wife. They're doing some good things at the grassroots level to create fans of the sport. It's not showing up a lot, but it's ticking that way. Baseball, and just so you know, Gabe, like, we're going to have a multitude of people on this show. Right now, it's probably heavy baseball just because of the people that I know, right? But are we creating fans of the sport? Because we can argue big contracts all we want. Guess what? Baseball starts to age out with their fan base. Can argue all you want about CBAs and that. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So, man, I love what you said about the development piece, because I think what's really interesting, and we'll kind of segment from a little maybe youth sports into, college where you're at. It's great if you throw 92 miles an hour and you are athletic, or you can run and do these things. And I want parents to hear this, because this isn't as important at the youth level. And youth meaning especially, 8 to 16, really, before you get into high school. When Coach Grinder at Southeastern University, top 5 NAIA program in the country, which, by the way, again, no offense to my Division I coaches here, can be put into a lot of mid-major leagues, and they will be at the top of those leagues, guys. And my mid-major friends, shout out. I won't shout him out. We both know who we're talking about. He's at a school, down south. Can disagree with that, or they can agree with it, behind closed doors. But your job is to, off the field, develop and teach people how to be men, get them a degree, and on the field, help develop them. But guess what? If you cannot help Southeastern University win baseball games through your attitude, your play, your effort, whatever, you're either not going to play, or you will not be attending Southeastern University, period. Your job is to do those things off the field, which is a separate conversation. But on the field, Gabe, if you go 10-40 the next 2 years, you're done. You will not have a job at Southeastern University.
That is correct. I will no longer be employed if we went 10-40. That is very real. And I think a lot of people they assume if it's not Division I that there's not an expectation. There very much is. And I think kids need to find themselves at programs that play for something, because you talk about growth. I always say in recruiting, find me a guy that played on a team that was 10-40 who had a fun time or who learned something. You won't. You
12-44.
You don't learn a whole lot.
12-44 at University of Portland. What do you think I did after that year?
You left right after the year.
See ya. And I was a part of the problem. Like, I probably wasn't the right fit for me, but bye. I don't want to lose.
No, it's you need to be places that challenge you in your growth, not only as a player, but as a person. And I think winning and your development as a person go hand in hand, because if you're at the right institution, they will develop you on the field, and they will also develop you off the field, because they care about both. Because I do believe those go hand in hand. You can truly just win and be a horrible human being. But I think people who do it right, they make sure both of those intertwine with each other.
I'll keep some of that to myself, because this is a positive podcast, and people will come on here with differing opinions, which is great. But I don't think we're trying to call people out. for what they do. And that's just negative, right? Even though what you just said, parents, you can hear this, because I say this to people all the time when I help people, find places to play. And I don't do it as much as I used to. Obviously, I'm into other things, with my, professional life. But man, I want my sons and I have a daughter to play for, I want to be able to tell you when I'm giving you advice on a school, I would let my son or daughter play for that person. Man, and when I first started doing this, the list was here, right? And I've said this to you multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, the list is right here, and it's just it's just going, and it's here, and a big reason for that is college athletics has changed so much, and a lot of the best guys. I will shout out some people here. Caleb Longshore, who will be on this podcast, who's bullpen coach for Cleveland in the big leagues. Kai Correa is the head bench coach now for the Mets in the big leagues. He's probably coming on next week. That'll be a riot. But those people were in college, and they're great people. And they kind of they can say whatever they want. They can see the writing on the wall and go, they're both Division I coaches. I'm out of here. I'm not going to deal with NIL, recruited transfer portal, recruiting my own players. So we're losing good people. And that's why I've begged you for years to not get out of this profession. You're not the only one, but we got to stop losing great people, and man, the Division I coaches who are great people. And I had a conversation with a guy the other day he's a fundraiser. The guy's a fundraiser. And I go, hey man, that's great. Because he needs to win. But every minute you spend fundraising is now a minute away from my son, who you're supposed to be helping become a man. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. As a parent, I don't love that, right?
No, you want to send your kids to places that allow them to be around that person who's recruiting them a bunch. That's the deal. And that's what we tell parents all the time when they come here, is that your son is going to get, in the next 4 years, going to spend more time with me and my staff than they will with you at home. So our job is to make sure that we lead these kids in the right direction and do the right stuff. And I'm with you. My kids aren't there. They're not close, but that's a scary thing to think down the line that, hey, I can send them somewhere and the person I'm sending them to says they're going to do all this. And then I come to find out a year into it, they don't spend any time with my kid. Holy crap.
Terrifying.
I wasted a year of their life. Mm-hmm. Because if I tell you I'm going to do something and then I'm not there doing it, do you think, and I don't know, maybe they do, but are my assistants going to do it exactly how I said it to be done? Or is it going to be something totally different? So I don't know, the landscape's changed a lot. I'm with you. I talk to the guys that are Division I don't know how they do it anymore. I love small college baseball.
Some of them care and some of them don't. That's the reality. Carmen, you don't talk about baseball. I can't even imagine football. It's a cliff. That's a rabbit hole. Man, this has been great, but I think, and we're going to end every podcast kind of the same way here, man, because again, I have, even me, the moments of, it's not fear, but it sort of is God, am I doing the right thing? What about this? Am I missing out? The FOMO is real, which is, why we're doing this. But, give us, both as Uriah's dad and Gabe Grinder, successful college baseball coach, what's one takeaway for the parents and the players and you can former players or your fellow coaches who have kids going through this, give us your takeaway that you want people, to hear from your perspective about surviving youth sports.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I have learned in the last year and a half of youth sports, with my daughters getting involved in some stuff, Uriah getting into baseball heavy and hockey, is that you need to let them be kids. They're kids one time. What they do now at 8 years old, 10 years old, will not make them a professional athlete. It won't. Back off on the pressure, back off on the hours, let them be kids. It's okay that they didn't play baseball today and they rode their bike around the neighborhood. I think we've put so much pressure on these kids, and I can see it in games that these 8-year-olds are stressing, they're trying to win a national title, and they need to enjoy what they're doing. And I think as parents, if you can do anything, encourage. I talk to my son every time before a game, and we always say, I always say to him, hey, no matter what happens, play hard, have a positive attitude, don't quit. And then after the game, I always ask them, did you play hard? Did you have a positive attitude? Did you not quit? I did. Okay, then it doesn't matter what you did in the game. If you went 0 for 3, I really don't care. Because if we can instill those things in kids and encourage them in that way, hopefully they play the sport until someone tells them they can't play it anymore. Because I think one of the worst things you can see happen is a kid quits because he doesn't love it anymore because he's been pushed over the edge. Instead of someone saying, hey, you're just not good enough, which that comes for all of us one day, that they'll tell us we're not good enough. But may that be the reason that it stops, and not because of moms and dads that are too overbearing or coaches in youth sports that are too crazy on kids. Don't let that be the reason why kids stop doing this. Make it an environment where they can grow and love this game, whatever game that is that they're playing, and do it for a long time.
That's powerful stuff. I mean, I think that's got a little bit of goosebumps with that. But man, thanks for coming on. You know, first ever guest. Definitely some. I've never done a podcast. Definitely appreciate your patience. This has been great. To the coaches, parents, players that will watch this. Keep at it, and we'll keep surviving youth sports. Appreciate it, Gabe.
Thanks, Rhett.
Thanks for joining us on Surviving Youth Sports. Remember, the scoreboard may tell a different story, but the snacks, the car rides, and the questionable coaching decisions, that's where the real memories and the real survival skills come from. Please share, subscribe, and follow us.